Then on the other side of the draw, the other Canadian, Felix Auger-Aliassime, also moving on to the quarterfinals. Tougher opponent, less impressive performance, a really back and forth 5-set match. The biggest, best takeaway, as Felix said, his best win, biggest win in his career. And what's most important about that is when they got to the finish line, he didn't choke. He came through. And that's so big for him. He definitely earned the win. But it was a really just nail biter, awkward, topsy turvy, bizarre match. So many opportunities for momentum for both players, and neither was really able to keep it. Somewhat due to their others' strong play, somewhat due to their own mistakes, shooting themselves in the foot. And ultimately, I think Zverev shot himself more in the foot. The double faults, a huge narrative in this match. It started off with a really consistent pattern in the first two sets where Felix would stumble on an early service game in the set. Zverev went up 4-2 both times, then double faulted to get Felix a break, tied back up. Just towards the end of the second set, it seemed like both were stepping into their momentum. Felix both serving well. Felix fought out a gutsy tiebreak that was back and forth, both having an opportunity to close out the set. And he's up 2-0. The announcers bringing up the Australian Open fourth round, where he was in the exact same situation against Karatsev and ultimately lost in 5 sets. Sure enough, Zverev really finds his serve, stops double faulting, and Felix continues to have one bad service game early in the set to give up the third set, give up the fourth set. Suddenly we're tied 2-2. The momentum's going all Zverev's way. Get a rain break, or no, excuse me. First game in the match, in the set, Zverev gifts Felix 3 double faults and a really easy second serve. Couldn't really have been easier. The serve continues to hold. Felix comes this close to breaking Zverev again. They go back and forth in a deuce. Zverev hangs in, takes it, and then breaks Felix back. Just by he suddenly is returning Felix's serve amazingly, taking all these really tough forehands, backhands, and raising the level of play to a point where they're unforced errors from Felix, but they are really forced, because if he doesn't take the ball that hard and that aggressively, Zverev was going to find a winner sooner rather than later. And suddenly the momentum's right back to being dead even, edging Zverev's way, putting the pressure on Felix's serve. Felix barely survives a deuce to get a hold. And then Zverev stumbles, shoots himself in the foot again, double faults, gives a really weak second serve. The double faulting, like I said, a huge issue for Zverev all match. But one of the interesting things he decided was like, all right, well, if my second serve's not going in at 90 miles per hour, maybe I should just try it back at 130 something miles per hour, which is roughly 200 kilometers for our Canadian listeners who can't do the mental math on the spot like me and had to think about that for a minute. So down 1540, Zverev, incredibly gutsy, goes for it on his second serve, puts it in at 132 miles per hour. But Felix gets the return, just like Zverev did earlier, raises the level of play on the rally, and ultimately Zverev hits net. And then we saw like a rinse, wash, repeat of the Chapeau putting it away. Felix starts off really well, gets himself 2 match points. Uh, easy one, easy put away on the first one, butchers it. But second one gets to the net, just has to take a half step back, very easy for an athlete like him, and puts the smash volley home. And I have never felt so relieved in my life watching tennis. It was such a nail biter, back and forth match where both played so well at times and kind of poorly at times, but it was really mental, especially on Felix's end, having been in this exact situation at the Australian Open, playing a guy like Zverev, who he's lost to and never taken a set off of, looking to make a new Grand Slam personal best by making it into the quarters. All this pressure on Felix, and he manages to pull it off. I think it's huge that second serve return on Zverev's 132-mile-per-hour serve. That's really the deciding point that won Felix the match, and he earned it, like I said at the beginning, talking about this match. Congratulations to Felix. I'm so proud. I know Owen's so proud. My friend who grew up in the same Canadian junior tennis system and has watched Felix play at tournaments growing up was through the roof. It's such an awesome Manic Monday for Canadian tennis. Unfortunately, he's going to be up against Matteo Berrettini, who has probably had the second best Wimbledon run, only after Djokovic, the man himself. Likewise, has only dropped one set so far in his 4 matches of play. And he's just a man built for grass tennis. You saw him give Djokovic hell in the French quarters off really just a serve and a forehand. So if it was that damaging on clay, it's going to be so much more lethal on the grass. And so far, it has been. He also was the winner of the Cinch tournament a couple weeks back, so hasn't lost on grass yet this season. And it's going to be a really tough matchup for Felix, but hopefully the Berrettini, the kind of opponent who raises Felix's level of play. I think back to his Miami Open matchup against Isner, a match he ultimately lost, but that went to tiebreak both times where neither dropped the serve. Hopefully we see an amazing server bring out the best in Felix's serve.